Hello once again and welcome. Welcome, this is Exiles TV here coming to you from Pelican Broadcasting.
Did an elephant just pass gas in this room?
There's a little feedback.
Oh, okay. Just
How are we now, guys? Good.
We're good.
All right then. Hey, thanks for
Marty's gone back to eating his breakfast. We're good.
Thanks for being with us. We got a lot of interesting things to talk about today. We're going to talk about crime and punishment in the age of COVID-19, particularly in the capital city. We've got the district attorney of East Baton Rouge Parish is going to join us in our second hour, Hillar Moore.
Have you noticed, by the way, the police shootings aside, that we seem to be having gunfire evenings again on quite a regular basis?
And this was predicted by some, that we would start to see an escalation in violence as more and more people just are getting sick and damn tired of one another.
Well, and also there are a lot of people that are trying to supplement their lack of income by robbing other people.
Yes. So Hillar Moore will cue us into that and what's going on there. And in our first hour.
In our first hour, the Pelican Institute is a Louisiana-based conservative think tank. And they actually have been studying since the very beginning of COVID what kind of reopening plan would best benefit business in Louisiana. The thing is, we don't know for sure if anybody's actually listening to them. But their president, Daniel Erspamer, whom we have gotten to know very well from our old radio show, will be with us to tell us about how the Pelican Institute has studied getting back to work in Louisiana and what their plan would look like if anybody wants to implement some of it or part of it.
But that is, and I wondered last night whether that would be an impertinent question to ask Daniel. It's like, well, you know, this may seem all well thought out, but does the fourth floor of the state capitol, the governor's office, do they care?
Well,
do they care what the Pelican Institute
You
thinks?
make a good point, and I am saying I have not seen them mentioned by anybody. Now, maybe their advice is being taken, but I was very surprised with Stephen Wagasback, the president and CEO of LABI, someone who has also served in a governor's administration in this state. Their group working on reopening plans, they're not part of the governor's task force. Now, the legislature wants LABI's input, but apparently they're not part of the governor's working group. So I also want to know how many of these we have.
Well, look, I think that some of these think tanks, I consider the Pelican Institute to be a conservative think tank. I consider
not radical, but conservative.
Not hard right wing, but they tend to have conservative viewpoints and philosophies. I consider LABI, because they're on the side of business, to be a somewhat conservative business and industry group. And I think that there's an ideological gap.
Well, I think
those
there
two
is, and too often, not necessarily when there's a health crisis, but too often when there is a revenue shortfall. The study comes from Aunt Lula Mae's My Mama's Hungry think tank instead of people who really know about business. A lack of business acumen is going to be very, very painful for this entire country. And I don't agree with everything that comes out of the White House, but I do think that one of the things that we have to consider was when the president said a few weeks ago, we have to make sure that the cure is not worse than the disease. And I'm sorry, it's too politicized in states like Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, North Carolina, Illinois, where you got all of these people tugging on you from a partisan point of view that doesn't have any actual acumen in it. One of the things that I've talked about, and people have been very angry with me for saying this, and then a few have said, well, you're right. There are certain groups that say, we've been disenfranchised. We've been denied education. We've been denied advancement. We've been kept out in the cold. We are economically depressed. Hey, we want to run things.
Yeah.
That
pretty well sums it up.
I'm going to take you at your word and say, well, gee, I'm really sorry for those things that have happened to you, and I'll try to work on that.
Those things have also given you a remarkable lack of experience in running things.
Exactly. I'm not going to give you the keys because you have just told me very eloquently how you have been put down to the point where you don't know how to do spit.
By the way, I don't know if you spent any time yesterday. Spent part of my day keeping an eye on things going on at the Capitol. In committee rooms where they were arguing, well, one thing they're arguing is the resolution to defy the governor's stay-at-home order and open the state up early. It, of course, is split down party lines, but what I heard from the Democrats, and I'm sorry, Democrats, but what I heard from the Democrat lawmakers was just blah, 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 to eat up time and garble up the discussion. I don't know if the governor asked them to do this or not, but a lot of them didn't have anything wise to say about the argument for reopening the state. All they had to say was, do what the governor wants you to do. It's just my observation. You can watch every bit of this on the legislative website. We're going to take a quick pause. We're going to be back with more in just a moment.
Stick around.
Taste the feeling.
Hey now, give it your best, put the broken lies to rest. Look up to the skies, I see desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
It's going places faster than ever before.
Hey there, how you doing? What's up with you? What are you wearing?
All right.
We're on. It's Exiles TV. Hey,
All of
Glenn.
a sudden, my laptop decides to
What is
start
your
talking.
laptop telling you?
I
Did you
left-
miss a payment or
I
something?
left the volume up last night when I was using it, and it was completely silent, and then an ad starts to run just as we go.
Just the ad. You know, it's not always about COVID or stay at home or business. Sometimes it's just about the creeps who walk amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
This story is out of Plaquemine, Louisiana. A Plaquemine man has been arrested on 538 counts of video voyeurism.
Now, do you know why? You know why that is, right? Because they found 538 video files.
Well, and they found more in his home of adults, and they're trying to identify them so they can say, hey, this guy took naked pictures of you. The name is Clinton Brocksmith. He is 31 years old. He was initially arrested with just one count of video voyeurism. And then they got charged day before yesterday with another 537. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you, Clinton. But here's the deal. This is a snowball stand that is an icon in Plaquemine. I mean, this has been around for 30-some years.
And apparently, the fact that they've got a restroom indicates that it's more than just a snowball stand's usually like a trailer with a deck out in front of it.
Yeah, no.
So this is a full-blown building with restrooms and everything.
He's been leasing it for the last 2 years. Obviously, to do his cinematography.
Thank you.
A la Roman Polanski. And it is not funny what he did because he had a lot of teenage female employees, and he was shooting
And
them,
customers.
Yeah, in the bathroom. According to Sheriff Brett Stassi, the camera was set up, it was a pinhole camera in the bathroom of the snowball stand, and would record people while they were in the bathroom. He had a live feed of the camera on his iPad. Now here's what's interesting. It was the same iPad he would use to ring up customers and process credit card.
Oh my God.
So what happened was one of the little girls
Went to ring up a customer.
and hit the wrong button,
Oopsie.
and she sees herself.
Potty Peekers, Part 5.
So, according to the sheriff, we're trying to determine when the pictures were taken, how old was the victim at that particular time, and that will determine whether it's video voyeurism or child pornography. But I mean, this guy had been making a living installing video security cameras and designing them. Now all of a sudden he wants to lease a snowball stand. And he's one of these guys where his brow and his chin meet about here, so all you can see is the spittle in his mouth and beady little eyes. Yeah, you can lease my snowball stand that has been in my family for 45 years. Go ahead.
They got his mug here on WAFB.com. Yeah, I'd say that face alone would be a red flag for me.
Now, here's what's funny is the sheriff, Brett Stassi, says he's been a customer of the snowball stand his whole life. He said the incident is tarnishing the reputation of the snowball stand that I went to when I left baseball games when I was a kid. Another customer, Ella Williams, this is very crazy. That is low, down, and dirty. She said, that's dirty. You got people working for you and then you're going to do them children like that? That's not nice to do to nobody. Now,
So the victims were only employees? Did he not have the restroom open to the general public?
well, it looks like they might have allowed people who asked to use the restroom as well, but it's mostly employees. The sheriff says if you or your child were an employee of Zeke's Snowball Stand within the last 2.5 years, please contact Major Ronnie Hebert with the sheriff's office there in Iberville Parish. And they're also they're urging people who had hired him to install cameras in their home or their offices to please contact Major Hebert with the sheriff's department as
if you
well.
don't have a camera in your bathroom, if this guy came to your house.
Well, the first story I saw said they had 38 and counting files of bedroom video that were obviously not from the snowball stand. And so, as the sheriff said, and what a position to be in if you're the sheriff, because you got to tread very carefully with your words. But he said they are trying to identify the people that they have seen in these bedroom videos so that they can speak to them personally and check out their homes if they would like the sheriff to do so.
Oh, my God.
Jeepers, creepers.
Well, you know what they say about icebergs? Only like 20% of it is actually showing above the water.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord. So that's our creep of the week. This may be a recurring feature depending on how well the good people of Louisiana provide us with creeps. I've never found there to be any shortage if you just pay attention to the news.
Well, and again, since he sold food items, he was an essential business.
A snowball stand is an essential business?
Hey, food's food. But
it's not food. There's no nutritional value in a snowball. It's ice and flavor.
I know. It's water and frozen water. But how stupid is he to have a live feed to the iPad he uses to ring customers up? And that poor little girl, when she hit the wrong button and she looked down at that screen, what do you think she had to say?
Was it her?
Yeah.
She was like the last one to use the bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, or maybe she's very...
I'm feeling sick. I'm going home.
Maybe she's very
Hello,
mature.
police?
Maybe she's very mature. Maybe she said, that camera angle made me look fat.
I don't think so.
No?
Hey, a couple of weeks ago on the program, we talked to the head of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. There's an effort to help them out, a rolling food drive. Going to tell you about that in just minutes. Plus, later this hour, Daniel Erspamer with the Pelican Institute. Plans for reopening the state. We'll see if the governor listens to them.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
And we're back. This is Exiles TV. Thank you so much for being part of the program today. And remember, if you'd like to get in on the conversation, especially in just a few minutes when we bring up our guest, Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute, you can call us at 225-831-1029. Did I get that right? 225-831. Well, I did get it right. Thank you, Jonathan, for putting that up on the screen for us.
Yeah, remember the time you made a mistake and gave him your cell phone number?
I'm putting on my reading glasses because I'm about to do some reading. I hope you'll forgive me. But a couple of weeks ago, we had Mike Manning with the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank talking about how the COVID-19 shutdown has affected them. Their cupboards are bare. They're looking for any help that they can get. And last week, and I regret that we missed this and weren't able to help get the word out.
Yeah.
But last week, the 2nd and the 3rd of May, the first weekend, they did a drive-through neighborhood food drive. Now, with the help of St. George and some of their fire trucks as well.
Yes.
But do you remember the Santa Claus parades that St. George do?
I haven't missed one. I have lived in what is considered to be St. George ever since college in Baton Rouge.
Well,
So all my homes have been in what is St. George.
This thing that they did on the weekend, the 2nd and 3rd, was very similar to the Santa Claus parade, where they roll through the neighborhood and they make a little noise and beat the horn, and so you can hear them coming.
A lot of noise.
And you get together your food donation, non-perishables mostly, and boxes of cereal, cans of vegetables, and you would bring it out to the parade, and they'd load it up as they rolled.
I always bring them a banana.
They're going to do it again, so there's another opportunity to help. It's the 16th and 17th, not this coming Mother's Day weekend, but the weekend after, and they're going to be running. Basically, I said Saturdays and Sundays from 10 o'clock Saturday and noon on Sunday until they run out of daylight or neighborhoods to cover. And the neighborhoods are going to be mostly south and west of Airline Highway, south and west of Airline Highway. So if you want to clear out the pantry and, come on, don't give us the stuff that expired in, 2015. But if you've got, good, usable, non-perishable foods, like bags of rice, bags of beans, vegetables,
canned goods,
cereal, canned goods, gather those up, box them up, and get ready and listen for the parade to come through your neighborhood, and then just run out to the curb and they'll take it off your hands with minimal contact.
It's always nice when the St. George guys do this.
This is the city of St. George, by the way, with the assistance
of St.
George Fire Department. Just want to make that clear. This is the folks who are behind the city of St. George.
But at Christmas time, Santa always has candy and all that for the kids, and the vehicle right behind Santa on the fire truck is a flatbed, and you just go ahead and put your food donations up on it. And they keep on moving.
They'll take a check.
Or they will take a check. If you're one of those folks at the beginning of all this that said, I don't know, so you bought a case of creamed corn and a case of green beans, and a case of pork and beans and a case of black beans, and now you're sitting there and there's still 15 left, grab 2 of each and put it in a bag and go out there.
Well, and there's another thing. I was shopping and I took advantage of a good deal on tuna, canned tuna, just because it was like $1 a can.
That's a pretty good deal.
So I bought 10 cans, but I had to wait in line behind the lady who was getting like 40. And she did that, and she bought 24 cans of canned chicken. So I guess she was just hoarding. She didn't know what the grocery stores would look like as this COVID thing ran on.
Or she's a cat lady.
But if you've done that now and you're thinking, wow, I got a lot more chicken and tuna than I can possibly use, donate it to the food bank. They'll make good use of it.
Yeah, and again, they will take a check. Although, usually in better times when we've done the food bank, Mike Manning can talk about how he can turn $1 into $10 worth of meals. Now, the food banks have to be competitive to get the food that they buy, and the prices are higher for the food banks than they've ever been before. So, yes, a check would be great, but also some non-perishables just to get some food inside that they can distribute. And you know what? Do both. If you want to give like $10 worth of canned goods
and hand them a check,
for $10, that'd be great.
Yep. And Bill said $10. That's certainly a good suggestion. Whatever your heart dictates, whatever your paycheck, your wallet can afford. But anything, nothing is too small. Just whatever you can, and just listen for the sounds of the sirens and the horns coming through your neighborhood.
And remember, Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank has been doing a tremendous job in this area, and they cover 10 parishes, by the way. It's not just East Baton Rouge Parish. And they've been doing that job for 35 years at least. And they are one of the most successful food banks in the country, and they are good stewards of your money. But when I tell you it's close right now, I'm not kidding. It is close. And I don't even want to imagine what happens in our area if they have to shut their doors for even a week because they don't have the supplies or they can't get the food and get it out to people. Think of what they're feeding these days. All the public school kids were getting lunch and sometimes breakfast and lunch at school. They would still be in school right now. And for the last month and a half, they would have still been in school. Food Bank is feeding all those kids.
And by the way, if I may, this program's seen on cable systems all the way from Acadiana to the Mississippi state line. So every one of those communities, Slidell, New Orleans, Lafayette, Hammond, there's a food bank. So ask how you can, look them up on the web, send them a check, or call them up and ask how you can help. Because I guarantee you that all the food banks are similarly stricken during this COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, and particularly now that meat production has slowed down a little bit because of COVID in the plants. People are doing more, red beans and rice without the sausage. So they're buying a lot more of the staples that used to go to the food banks regularly, and they're consuming them at home. So anything you could do would be a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Just think of yourself in that situation, which you may have been with one of our many hurricanes, where you couldn't get groceries, you didn't have food to feed your family, and the local food bank or second harvesters came through for you.
Yeah. So it's coming up this Saturday and this Sunday. And
no, not actually. This is Mother's Day weekend. It's coming up the 16th and the 17th of this month.
So this will be COVID spike weekend too.
Mm-hmm.
After Easter, we got Mother's Day.
You got it.
Come on, you can't kid me. You really don't want to sit around with all your siblings and your grandma and your aunts and uncles. You don't want to. You do it out of a sense of obligation. Be honest with me.
If I may, Bill, let's get the conversation started on what we're going to talk with our guest, Daniel Erspamer, about. And after the next break, we'll bring him up. At the legislature, one of the things that has seen much debate is a resolution to basically override the governor's powers of shutting the state down. There are legislators who say it's time to reopen and reopen now. Question I ask at this point is, May 15th may arrive before you get a vote on this resolution in both chambers.
Probably.
So what are you doing? What are you doing? Is it out of some kind of fear? Is it something we don't know that he'll extend again? I've heard murmurings that he may June 1st. And then they're worried that when May 30th or May 29th rolls around, June 15th. Because there's federal money on the line, and the state is strapped for cash, and I can see the governor's motivation in trying to bring in as much money from the feds to offset that. But those are the arguments. But we're rapidly coming up on May 15th, and if the governor is true to his word, which he wasn't true to his word the first time, he said April 30th, but I understand it's crisis. How do we reopen the state? How do we go about getting businesses open, get restaurants where they can seat diners again?
Well, where
retail stores can welcome shoppers in.
And again, sales tax revenue, payroll tax revenue. Don't think that we're just cruising along and it's bad. It's going to get a lot worse when they try to make a budget with no income. But it appears to me that we have at least three groups, task forces as you were, that are working on this. We have the governor's task force, which I was surprised. I was surprised that it's different from the legislative task force, which has people like LABI and the chambers of commerce and people like that.
Again, it's that ideological chasm that we keep talking about.
And I read a couple weeks ago that some people you and I have grown to know and respect, the people at the Pelican Institute, have also been studying reopening this state and how to do it, and apparently nobody's talking to them. And again, this is a voluntary membership group of people who are educated and experienced in business, in education, in law, in legislation,
industry.
In finance, in industry. Geez, at least give them a whistle, huh? We're going to find out what's in their plan, and we're going to find out if anybody is actually giving them an ear for a few minutes to see what they might be able to use.
And I also, I've been watching some of the shenanigans at the state capitol from home on my computer.
Hijinks.
Yeah. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see what people, that some people think that wearing a mask means dangling it from one ear. The point. They've got, and I don't see the point in some of the things. The mask thing, of course, is a sore subject for me because I ain't wearing one. Sorry. They've got plexiglass everywhere. You know who I'd like to be right now? I'd like to be the guy who makes and distributes Lexan.
Oh yeah.
In the state of Louisiana, because those guys are making a killing.
There's a business in the LP that changed their siding and gutter manufacturing to that, and apparently they do very high quality work. But I can't watch the legislature in my computer. I can't do it. Because I can't watch.
Is it a blood pressure issue?
Yeah, I can't watch the swaggering foghorn leghorn from some place like Richmond, who thinks anything that comes out of his pie hole is something that we should all listen to.
Mm-hmm.
My legislature, Bill's legislature, there would be an IQ test, and you had to live in an area, your district had to at least support the state fisc with tax revenue, payroll tax revenue, income tax revenue, or you don't get a seat. I don't need somebody from freaking Zwally in that legislature. Nobody does.
Before we go to break, yesterday's committee hearing certainly seemed to me like a contest to who could say the stupidest damn
There
thing.
you go.
And go on the official record.
Have they decided on the state butterfly yet?
Exiles TV returns in just a couple minutes. Stay right there, please.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. So, plans to reopen the state. Much to my surprise, a couple weeks ago I learned that there are more than one task force working on this. And one of them is a nonpartisan think tank headquartered and based here in Louisiana with experts from every field of endeavor. And they have put together a plan. And it appears that nobody wants to even look at it. Joining us now from the Pelican Institute is Daniel Erspamer. He is their CEO. Daniel, good to have you on.
Hey, good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Been following you on Facebook. How's the kids?
I've got 4 of them, and they're a little stir crazy.
Now, I have to ask you, is the whiskers, is this a shut-in thing, or is it an aesthetic choice?
No, this is my protest beard.
Good.
My wife is anxious for the economy to reopen, if for no other reason than to get me to shave this off my face.
Well, I've been ironing my own shirts because dry cleaners has my slacks and shirts held hostage, and I actually cut my own hair a few days ago.
Oh,
yeah,
that was bold.
I had help. You know, I had directions, but I know that, you know, your hair's a little longer than you normally wear it.
It is.
My hair's a lot longer than I normally wear it. Holy mackerel.
We are very soon going to get you a T-shirt with no arms on it and strap your bass guitar to you and have you rock us all out.
That's right. I need a chambray shirt and a wide belt.
There you go.
And I'll sing, "This land is made of mountains." I'm kidding.
Back to the serious business, because we got to laugh or we're going to cry.
That's right.
Tell me about how the Pelican Institute went about putting together their blueprint for reopening Louisiana.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned sort of the political debate in the last segment, and part of the challenge with being a think tank is we see nuance, right? We understand there's often a middle pathway or a place where everyone can come around. And so what we did is we talked certainly to medical experts, we talked to business leaders, small business owners, people who are out of work. You know, there are over 500,000, 560,000 people in Louisiana have applied for unemployment since March 7th. I mean, this is just a stunning economic collapse that we must act aggressively and urgently to try to solve. We face dual crises. So that was the basis of how we approach this, is we have a health crisis and we have a crippling economic crisis that has not only livelihood and family impacts, but it has health impacts.
Certainly does. So what was your major conclusion in consultation with everybody who contributed their time and their expertise to putting a plan together?
A couple of things. The first is, as quickly as we can get the economy reopened with people getting back to work safely, the better we can attack both of these. Think about how we come out of crises across history. It's through innovation. It's through the private sector and civil society and government all coming to work together. And think about what's even starting to get us out of this health crisis. It's increased testing capacity. It's innovation in how we apply those tests and learn. The way to get through this is to unleash free enterprise and get the economy going, again, as safely and quickly as possible. And the second thing is we're looking about this often the wrong way. We've tried to say essential and non-essential businesses. Well, for anybody who's trying to put food on the table or a roof over their head, their job
is essential.
Exactly.
The question is safe and unsafe. You know, how can we come back to work? We should open as many enterprises that can operate safely and effectively as possible, and also make sure we are emphasizing personal responsibility. You know, we talk about the debate over, you mentioned earlier, mandatory masks or not, and all this. We've got to take some measure of personal responsibility in order to get through this crisis.
Let me ask you this. I call it the rule of acceptable losses. But I think what it really comes down to is, do your experts, does the Pelican Institute think that as far as the personal responsibility part of this, that if I want to go to a restaurant and I go and I see there is a table next to me that's a little close, I just say, no, thank you, I don't want to sit here. Or I say, I'm not worried about it, their backs are to me, I can go ahead and sit here. You know, we've got people all over this country that are canceling all travel through 2020, yet they want the airline industry to come back with bargain fares.
Right.
You know, we've got people that want to be able to go see a movie again, but the theater can't make it if they're only using every fifth seat. I think some of these things that people have spitballed in are bad inhibitors to actually getting the economy going. So where do you all stand on, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot?
Absolutely. And again, the market will respond to this. Just as you suggested, if restaurants want people to come to their business, and they're going to voluntarily, in most cases, take measures to spread people out, because for a lot of people, if they walk in and see it packed, they're not going to want to stay.
Yeah.
People have some fear and concern, rightly so, about the devastating impact of the health crisis. So we've got to just be smart about it, and we've also got to not assume that government can solve every problem that we face. Government has an important role to play. Civil society, charities, churches, those organizations have an important role to play, and of course the private sector does as well. And when we think about the cost, the human toll, certainly of the health crisis, we also studied the data coming out of the Great Recession. And to some degree, though, the data is less complete coming out of the Great Depression. But if you look at suicide, if you look at increase in food insecurity, if you look at increase in homelessness, all of those went up dramatically during the last major recession in which we entered. So to suggest that there's not a health cost to economic crisis, this whole insanity around, is it Main Street or Wall Street or Grandma? This is a false choice. We can solve both of these serious, meaningful crises together, but the first step of doing that is to get some predictability in the economy and to get it open as quickly as we can.
Well, I'm curious if you would share with us the basic framework of the Pelican plan for restarting the state.
Sure. So we have, frankly, really...
By the way, they're telling us in the trailer they love your name. It's Pelican Broadcasting,
That's
Pelican
right.
Institute.
We've got great brand
kind of late to the party, guys. Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I digress.
No, so frankly, the framework of the White House plan is pretty on point from our perspective. The question is, how quickly do you do it, and how do you define the question of safe versus unsafe, right? Rather than that question about essential versus non-essential. And so the basics are, if you can open safely and in a state that customers will want to come, open your shop, get moving. Let's unleash the private sector in terms of increased testing capability. Let's continue to maintain increased hospital and ventilator capacity. If you remember, the whole economic shutdown was sold to us as a way to prevent overruns of hospital capacity.
That's right, flatten the curve.
Absolutely. This makes entire sense. I think they had broad acceptance of that. Of course, we got nowhere near hospital or ICU or ventilator capacity. That's great news. We should celebrate that.
Yeah, because we did act early enough to flatten it out.
But now the goalposts keep moving. So that's the other important piece of the plan, is keep the goalposts steady. If we say that's why we're closing, the measure to open back up is we didn't hit that hurdle. We didn't have that problem. We kept hospital capacity hospital use under capacity, rather. But we can't lose sight of that being an important fact. So we should continue to make sure we have adequate hospital capacity. We should continue to produce PPE and masks and supplies and ventilators. All of that happens by opening the economy back up and getting people back to work.
Well, let me ask
Rather than buying them at greatly inflated prices from, guess what? China.
That's right.
Let me ask you this. I mean, today in the national news, there were some big national companies that the Treasury Secretary, of all people, is demanding they return $337 million of stimulus money that they got, that they were entitled to. And now you've got the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, saying, no, you have to give this back because it wasn't meant for you, it was meant for small business. So again, as you say, the goalposts keep moving, the rules keep changing. But I was wondering if you looked at the economics of whether or not some sort of additional stimulus in terms of a bonus should be looked at in terms of businesses that do reopen and do so safely. And, they've been reopened now for a month and there have been no problems, no hot spots, no reinfections. I mean, should we not maybe think about spurring the economy with some reward stimulus, perhaps?
Well, as a free market think tank, we tend to be skeptical in general of government engagement.
Yeah.
However, This crisis was caused by government.
Yes.
The government told you could not open your business.
Mm-hmm.
There's a legal argument to be made, not to get overly wonky, about takings, right? If you have your business through eminent domain or something has been taken by government, you are entitled to compensation for that loss. There's going to be a lot of legal arguments, a lot of lawsuits that happen around this.
Yes.
That's going to be a major component of this discussion, and I think that plays into some of the questions
Well,
you're asking.
I think it's making people whole again, even if it's after the fact, is something that ought to be looked at. We are going to continue, by the way, with Daniel Erspamer. He is the CEO of the Pelican Institute, as he put it, a free market think tank right here in the state of Louisiana. They've got a plan for reopening our business sector. And we're going to talk about who's listening and who's not when we come back on Exiles TV. Stick around. Stay with us, won't you?
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at pelicansportstv.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Well, hey, we're back. There you are, too. Thanks so much for being with us. This is Exiles TV. He's Bill. I'm Kevin. And the man in the center is Daniel Erspamer. He is the CEO of the Pelican Institute, a Louisiana-based think tank that's made up of, well, you've got some of the most brilliant and brightest professional minds. They're all voluntary members of your institute. The Pelican Institute has a plan to reopen. You touched on something right before the break that I asked off the air, but I want to ask on the air. One of the things we're hearing from the governor and his supporters as opposition to legislative attempts to end the shutdown sooner than May the 15th is if we don't do this, we'll miss out on federal money, and that's a state government problem. State government created the problem. I don't understand why we, the people out here, the taxpayers and the workers and the people who are without income right now, are supposed to care about the plight of state government. They created the problem, not us.
There's no question about that. There's a few layers to this. The first is the question of whether or not we're going to lose federal money should the legislature somehow redact the governor's executive order or something.
Not bloody likely, by the way.
Not likely. That is absolutely certain. The answer is it's not clear. We actually dug into this quite a bit to better understand where the dollars are flowing from the federal government. We talked to folks at the White House. And as you know, as Louisianans are well aware of FEMA money and support that comes with an emergency declaration. But the CARES Act and some of the money coming through this crisis is coming from about 20 different agencies across the federal government who don't usually get in the business of responding to crises. And so the rules of whether or not you need a federal or an emergency declaration rather are completely unclear.
So are you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is the government's claim specious because nobody's sure?
I think perhaps. My guess is they're operating incredibly conservatively, so to speak.
They're whistling past the graveyard.
Yes. And look, here's the other problem, right? We have seen government in Louisiana grow and grow and grow. And if we go back to just after Katrina and Rita, what we see, of course, is a huge influx of federal money, which the state has long had what we call a spending cap, something that said, listen, government shouldn't grow at a rate beyond something that's reasonable each and every year. Well, when all that federal money came in, it exposed some challenges in the spending cap, and that has been blown ever since. And so just as an example, Representative Boyer is bringing a revision to that spending cap this year, an important bill that just passed out of committee this week. But if you were to apply this year's spending cap, so we'll see. Before this crisis, we were going to spend about a little over $13 billion of state money. The spending cap would come in at $18 billion. So it was blown completely out of proportion by this federal money. And of course, Louisiana is one of the most reliant states in the country on federal dollars. This is not a good thing. What Louisianans are good at is bootstrapping and getting out of these things by themselves, communities coming together. The idea that we continue to have to rely on the federal government, it's not to suggest we should reject all federal money, or I'm not suggesting that at all, but we've got to get out of this on our own. We've got to right-size our budget, we've got to put processes in place, and then we have to make the big policy changes coming out of this that it's going to allow our economy to thrive and actually bring jobs and opportunity.
Well, and again, just to give it a financial perspective, one of those little factoids, everybody is comparing Louisiana's last month and a half to New York's. Pretty damn similar. You talked about the cap at 18, we're planning on spending 13. There's a $5 billion difference, right? Yeah. In the month of March, the 5 university-based hospitals in New York that were treating large numbers of COVID patients lost $5 billion. We have 5 university-based healthcare centers that are called teaching hospitals, the large medical centers. 3 in New Orleans, 2 in Baton Rouge, 1 in Shreveport. And I would assume that their quantum is about the same. So if you're going to reimburse that with Medicaid, you've already blown your spending cap in 1 month.
Right. Well, and just a quick aside, this brings another important point to the debate about the loss of lives and challenge to health with the economic crisis and the shutdown. I spoke to a cardiologist friend of mine who's been trying to treat her patients through telemedicine as best as possible. Mm-hmm. She was on with one a week or so ago and who needed to go to the emergency room. It was a situation that needed someone to be physically, checking pulse and everything else. I'm not a cardiologist, obviously, but the patient refused to go. We're seeing people delay treatment, delay detection of problems. This is going to be a public health crisis that's going to last for a very long time coming out of this. And again, I'm not undermining the threat of COVID and the health crisis that spurred all of this. It is every bit as dangerous and challenging as we're suggesting. What I'm saying is we have a health and economic crisis that has resulted from the response that's every bit as problematic and deserves every bit of our urgency and effort to solve.
Daniel, in our remaining minutes, I'd like to ask you about the reaction, if any, from the legislature and from the governor, because the legislature has a task force for reopening the state. The governor, as Bill mentioned earlier, I'm kind of surprised that there isn't just one, but that may speak to some ideological differences. And is anybody interested in what Pelican has to say?
You know, the short answer is yes, but. So I'll tell you who's most interested is the thousands of people around the state who have signed our petition, who have engaged on social media and the website and have called us. We have someone actually going around the state this week collecting stories on video of people who either their company has changed production to help solve the crisis, or people who are out of work, all these stories that deserve to be told. The public is listening and is demanding reaction. And then certainly some in the legislature, they want to do the right thing. Of course, the politics of the day often get in the way. Sometimes they help, and sometimes they get in the way of getting to the right answer. And there's a tremendous amount of fear, and understandably so. Listen, I have enormous respect for the position the governor has been put in. These are hard decisions. There's sleepless nights and his staff. So I certainly understand the challenge of leadership.
Who would want to face such a thing?
Right. So I want to be very clear about that. I have enormous respect for that. The challenge is, if you listen to the governor's press conference when he announced the extension, he said, and this was just stunning to me, not a single dissenting voice among his circle of advisors when they made this decision.
Well, and again, I mean no disrespect, but how qualified are a governor's circle of advisors in terms of business acumen and economics and things like this? I mean, I assume that the Revenue Estimating Conference works for the governor as well, and they're never right.
Right. And look, if you're a health professional, if your job is a public health leader or an epidemiologist, or you are trained and they're providing the best health advice they can, and I respect that deeply. We've talked to a number of doctors and medical professionals as well.
Is it uncommon or common for a leader when he is assembling his circle of advisors to basically create an echo chamber?
It happens all too often, I think. You know, if you look at Doris Kearns Goodwin, a great book on Lincoln, right? Teams of Enemies. He very intentionally put people who disagreed with him. George Washington, of course, did the same thing. Business leaders across the country.
Donald Trump, not so much.
Yeah, that's right.
Not at all.
But this is important, right? No major decision should be made without debate. And this is why the spectacle yesterday in the legislature, of course, whether you agree with the resolution or not, or it's a good thing. People had to come to the table and give evidence and debate, and this is the first real debate we've had over this. We need more of it, not less.
Talking is more important right now, and pointed talking. Right. Daniel, before we go, if people want to find out more about the Pelican Institute, if they maybe want to read this report and all this, where do they find you?
pelicaninstitute.org, pelicaninstitute.org, or you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Join the conversation. We want to hear from you. We want to hear those voices. We want to tell your story. And most of all, we want to get people back to work and fix the state we all love and care for so that we can have a thriving pathway for years and years to come.
And for those of you that don't know the Pelican Institute, I want to say this real quickly. They don't just focus on crises. They are a 24/7, 365 think tank that is directly involved with what's going on in Louisiana, large and small. So pelicaninstitute.org, check them out. Read some of their work. They do a great job in my opinion.
Thank you.
Daniel, always glad to have you along with us. Hopefully we'll get you back on sometime soon.
I look forward to the day when we can shake hands again with him.
I know. We'll bump elbows in the meantime.
We can all get haircuts again by real barbers.
Appreciate what you guys are doing. This is important.
Thank you for being our guest. We appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having us.
In our second hour, crime and punishment in the capital city in the age of COVID-19. What are the trends? What's going on? We're going to talk with the East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney. I'm sure things in this parish are being reflected in other parishes as well. That's on the way. Stay by.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
TV Round 2. I'm Bill Profita.
I am Kevin Gallagher.
Glad to have you along with us this morning.
So April was COVID-19. We're looking forward to murder hornets in May. And what's June going to bring? Hurricane season.
Did you see that there was a tropical wave out in the Gulf?
Oh, sure. It's that time. It's high time for that to start developing, and we could start worrying about it getting into the Gulf.
I heard this morning that Florida State Police has set up a roadblock on I-10 at the border with Alabama.
Not because of COVID, just because they wanted to keep Bama fans the hell out of Florida.
I think that's probably it. But apparently all the other routes like Highway 98 and all that don't have roadblocks, so it may have. But boy, there were people all over Facebook that were just outraged by it. They were incensed. Because there have been people that are sneaking onto those beaches now for the last 3 weeks.
Well, this is the time of year, and the beaches are virtually empty. So, can we not practice social distancing? Why? I wondered about this.
It's a great big open space.
I wondered about this back in early April when the wave border was busted. There was nobody on the beach. So why did they bust the guy? Because we told you to stay home. That's overstepping.
Yeah, but
the authority, because I think
you should bust wave borders for anything, for like going to McDonald's.
It's for being a wave border.
Yeah, dude.
I'm wanting to look at tropical weather here and see what we got going on out there.
We need a weather jingle.
The weather, what's it going to do? How's that?
That's good. That was good. What is it going to do?
I'm waiting on wonderground.com to
Weather
actually
Underground.
give me
Yes,
some data.
Indeed. To call it Wonderground, it's a wonder they ever load a page. They are so slow.
Hurricane and tropical. Let's go.
Let's see the tropics, folks.
Right now, Wonderground is not showing.
They're not showing the wave?
No tropical storm activity for this region. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean there isn't a wave out there, but they normally have that on the map. That
Or a
there's
low pressure.
an area of concern.
An area of concern.
You know what we need to do? We need to get Jay Grimes. Jay Grimes from another television station in Baton Rouge.
Man of weather danger.
When we had our radio show, that guy kept us better informed on upcoming systems than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And
have you noticed what's happened to Jay since we couldn't have him on our radio show anymore, and then our radio show went away?
He lost a lot of weight. He looks great.
He's also never right now.
Oh, come on.
It was us.
Come on. Yeah, it's been interesting watching your local news. How are you doing with your local news personalities? Are you, are you, some of them I'm watching disappear because they're not eating right, and some of them are eating too right.
And you and I have talked about how we kind of tease about them, but how tough it is when you basically only got one story.
Seriously, I mean, it's COVID-19 and anything COVID-19 related, whether it be fluffy, like a little basket full of puppies, or whether it be, another tale of horror and woe.
One of the stations is doing little vignettes where people send their own videos, which is never a good idea. Never. Because people who will do this in front of their own camera and send it to you, there's something wrong with them. But anyway, one of the stations just show us your happy place. And they got all these people jumping around like their nards are on fire. And it's like, I don't want to watch that.
Look.
That doesn't make me happy.
For some people, their happy place is their favorite bar that they can't go to.
Well, this meant, in home, and apparently they selected only people that wanted to jump around like their nards were on fire.
Right. I've seen far too many viral videos of people, grown adults, acting like children because, isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? Look, we're all doing a little dance and we're in sync and we're grabbing each other's booty. Isn't it cute?
Yeah, there was a family in...
Please.
There was a family in New Orleans East that were all 6 feet apart, and there were 6 of them. And for a couple of these, being 6 feet apart meant you had to be like 12 feet from the head. And they got 2 rows of line dancing, and they're singing. And it's like, have you no shame?
So, no.
Have you no decency?
This predates the coronavirus, my friend, is that the opportunity, the possibility of having a video go viral will remove any sense of shame.
Years ago, Cortana Mall was one of my advertising clients, and we used to like to shoot the commercials inside the mall. And the field production took a lot longer than it needed to because, hey, put me on TV, put me on TV, put me on TV. And so I finally...
Or just photobombing the shot without permission.
Before the term photobombing was even in there. So I finally got one of those radiation danger signs, and I hung it on the tripod on the front end of the camera. And they said, what does that mean? I said, you get within 8 feet without protective gear, gonna blast your nards, you'll never have a child. They stayed away.
Time for another quick break. We're going to be right back with more Exiles TV.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. Misery
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
We're doing our happy dance here. We're just doing it in the break because we're going to send it to television stations all around the state, not ours, because nobody wants to see that on this network. I'm sorry. This, show us your happy place, and then, show us your made-at-home haircuts, and of course they do the classic where they got the kid who's about 12 and mom puts the bowl on his head. Come on, really? Run a rerun of McCloud. Shorten your news programs by 20 minutes. Come on out.
See, that's...
Tell me if anybody died today on our streets. Give me the weather, and then run McCloud or McMillan and Wife or something. They got nothing.
And the one I'm getting, one channel is like been running out of, so they're rerunning sports packages. And these are packages that were taped weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
But it's time for sports. Here comes the sports guy who introduces the package. He's got nothing to do but introduce the sports guy with the sports package, where we talk with, and it's like, just skip it. There's no sports. There's no sports.
We visited with conditioning coach Bobby Strongarms before the first game of the 2018 season.
You know what I think is interesting in the world of sports is that now they are talking about playing games in empty stadiums. And the NBA was talking about, do we play in empty arenas? It's like, well, no, don't play in empty arenas. Play in empty high school gyms. Why go to the expense of having the arena be open at all?
Yeah.
And cranking up the AC and the lighting system, and it's expensive just to open an arena. Play NBA games in high school gyms. You don't have any spectators. What the hell?
I think they should make them play shirts and skins.
There you go. But it's like, I know sports. Sports fans watch Pelican broadcasting all the time. It is essentially a sports network, and we applaud them for it.
And they're good sports to have us.
I want to ask some of you sports people out there watching, do you miss the NBA at all? Really? I mean, it's like, wow, there they go, whoop, boo, boom, and then they go, whoop, boo, up, then whoop, boo. It's like, I've always, since I was a child, found basketball to be one of the most boring and pointless sports in the world.
It's like
now, let the slings and arrows come.
It's like watching baseball, and one of the most exciting things in baseball for a baseball player
we got a hit.
is a no-hitter.
Yeah.
For a viewer on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he pitched a no-hitter. Well, that means people sat in the bleachers for 9 innings and got no action.
We didn't get to see any base running. We didn't get to see, Anyway.
No action.
But, I mean, and again, the having the investigative reporters out. I mean, they're this far away from saying, I'm looking for something to investigate, and I got nothing.
Well, here's the thing. None of them are investigating what we want investigated. We want to know who's responsible for this, and why aren't we talking about that?
Oh, and then one of your favorites, and I love her too, Liz Coe.
God bless Liz Coe.
This morning.
That girl is game.
They got her.
Liz Coe is, by the way, a field reporter for WAFB Channel 9 in New Orleans, for those of you not in the capital city.
They got her standing out in front of the Better Business Bureau, which isn't open because she, her show goes on at 4:30 in the morning. And she's standing out in front of the Better Business Bureau, which is not open. And Karen looks at me and says, is there a bathroom for Liz when she's standing out in front of these closed buildings for 4 hours? But she's doing this scam alert from the Better Business Bureau. There are people that are going to contact you saying that they're from the federal government and they want to give you money, and it's probably a scam because they're going to ask you to make a bank deposit. And it's like, does anybody on the planet still breathing not understand this?
No, again, they got to eat that clock, and I understand. I feel bad for them because they do. Plus, and by the way, I said New Orleans a moment ago, I meant in Baton Rouge. Liz, this particular field reporter, they send her out at 5 in the morning to stand in front of the BBB, which it's closed, and set up a piece that they taped with Carmen Million from the BBB weeks ago.
That's in daylight.
Yeah. And, you know, it's as my wife Mary Ann mentioned to me this morning, she says, does Carmen Million wear the same clothing every day? And I said, no, sweetie, I know you're joking, but of course they taped all this, and they made as many packages as they could out of it. It's an old trick that I used to do in radio news when I worked for the Louisiana Radio Network. When a holiday was rolling around, you'd get an interview on the phone and you'd try to get as much distance out of that interview to make separate stories out of it as you possibly could, because you had to bank stories to air on holidays.
But again, when I did public relations and things like that, if I had a client that was going to do 5 different stories, I instructed them to bring 5 different outfits.
No, that was for radio news. That's the beauty. You're just talking to somebody on the phone.
Yeah, but for TV, if you want to do it properly,
just change a tie or something. You know?
Yeah. And she always wears that 2 sizes too small Better Business Bureau golf shirt.
Are you criticizing Carmen's mode of dress now?
Yes. It is not. It's not.
Carmen,
a good
I
look.
think you're awesome. So we love it.
Not a good look. Wear your regular clothes. Don't wear the BBB golf shirt. I mean, again, we used to have that. We had women in our sales staff up at the radio station, and they started wearing logoed station golf shirts. And most golf shirts are cut for a man, not for a woman. And most of them look like lost physical therapy assistants.
Yeah, but some of them could close like crazy when they wore those golf shirts.
Well,
you know what I'm saying.
But Carmen Million doesn't have that problem.
Wow, dude. Carmen, you're a lovely woman. No matter what Bill says.
34 long.
Speaking of trying to fill time, we have an hour to fill. Coming up later in the hour, crime and punishment in the capital city and perhaps in your parish. What's the condition of it? Is crime up where you are? We're going to talk with the District Attorney of East Baton Rouge Parish, Hillar Moore. That's coming up later this hour. Right now, take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of this. Whatever it is.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello, Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. In just a few minutes, District Attorney Hillar Moore joins us
just
on
walked
the
in the
program.
door, as a matter of fact.
If you got questions, by the way, 225-831-1029, and we will do our best to field them for you. We've been talking about some of the silly things that are going on during the lockdown in amidst all the serious things that are happening. I saw something yesterday. Again, we're talking about local TV, and I understand why they covered it. But a patient who had a rough time with COVID-19 was released from the hospital, and the hospital staff lined the corridors, and they were applauding. And this guy,
this is a young man. He was only 28.
Yeah, he looked like he really didn't want the attention that much.
Yeah.
You know. And
we'll go better.
You know, you think about these kind of things, and how many people who, just by bad luck of the draw, have been infected with this disease, and they appear to someone to be newsworthy, and so people are out trying to talk to their parents or their friends or their classmates or their teachers, or if they're lucky enough to come out, want to shoot video of them. I mean, I don't know about you, but the last time I was in a hospital was because they cracked my chest open and had to put my heart back together.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't mind people coming to visit me. I thought it was very nice of them to do that. But you know what? The last thing I wanted would be a camera crew when they're rolling me out of the hospital in the wheelchair, and I'm sitting kind of down in it, and I got a hat covering my head.
Yeah, it's not exactly seeing you at your best.
Yeah, and I kind of, in all of this, because we're concerned about people, and because we think other people need to hear their stories or the stories of their loved ones, have we taken all semblance of dignity in favor of media?
Yes. Yes. I don't know what else to say besides yes. I mean, we're also willing to borrow people's dignity.
There you go.
For the sake of a news piece or the sake of, a human interest piece, because, it's the sort of thing that makes people feel good. We're all cooped up in the house. We're worried about our household budget. No money's coming in. The pantry's getting sparse. And, just any little thing that can make you feel a little better about things. But in the
it
meantime,
doesn't.
and what you said, I'm going to tell you this. It's been a long, long time since I had to be in the hospital for any amount of time. I've told Mary Ann, because I'll tell you how long it's been, Mary Ann has never had to have me in the hospital. We've been married 32 years, and she's never, knock wood or laminate, I haven't had to be in the hospital for 32 years. But I've asked her many, many times, if I have to be in the hospital for any amount of time, please discourage people from coming to see me.
I'm coming anyway.
Please discourage
And I'm coming and I'm bringing treats.
I don't necessarily, bring smokes, bring me a big fat cigar. I don't necessarily want people coming to see me at my worst. I mean, think about it. You're laid out. You look terrible. You're wearing a hospital gown, because I don't own a pair of pajamas. You're definitely not at your best. And if you're sick and feeling poorly, you're at your worst. And the only way I want you to bring people into my hospital room is you better come see him fast if you want to see him ever again. And then if you want to come say your bye-byes, that's. But if I'm just in for a medical procedure, hey, I'll be out in a few days. We'll catch up.
I'm going to send you a hospice clown. It exists, oddly enough.
I want you to call the Merles and get me some Disney princesses to come see me in my room.
All right, we'll do that.
Our dear friend Libby Davis Morrell is Elsa. She hires out as a Disney princess. So get her and some of her Disney princesses, and then I'll think about it. Okay.
Now, the other thing that I've noticed that bothers me, and I have been in media all my adult life. I love the media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So don't take this the wrong way. But all of you media remoras, please stop. Please. It is so patently obvious that you are trying to glom on, like a remora sticks to the side of the great shark. When I see a spot that we salute the custodians, the heroes, we salute our healthcare workers, and they've got B-roll, from, and I understand that if a media outlet wants to do it to help fill their time, much of which is unsold right now, okay, you're still being a bit of a remora. But you're also pissing a lot of people off because you're not saluting. You're not saluting the people who are staying home, going without a paycheck, wondering how they're going to make ends meet.
Wondering if they'll have a job to go back to.
Who are doing their part to try to end this. The people who are doing their jobs, I admire them. They've been doing a good job doing their jobs. And I know it's not easy. But all of this, what was it? It was some kind of an odd insurance brokerage type firm that says, we want to salute all of our healthcare workers. Why? Well, we had this airtime bought at a premium and we need to use it. So we're going to try to glom onto that. Or we're giving away 8 cents and some toenail clippings for every donation you make to the Save the Hospital Mask Fund. Please stop. A little dignity.
I have a cousin who is a respiratory therapist and has been very busy through this thing, as you might guess. She will be among the first to tell you, we're not heroes. We're merely showing up and doing our job. That is our job. And I said, well, doesn't the fact that you could get this virus and possibly die if you're in a comorbidity group, doesn't that make you a hero for showing up and doing your job? No. I knew there were risks when I took the job. It's a risky job. We're not heroes. We're servants. And we do our job.
Your cousin seems very wise about that because, of all people, respiratory therapists, you are dealing with sticky, gooey 100% of your time. You are dealing with the very secretions the rest of us are trying to avoid.
By the way, you want to talk about glomming on? Marty, I'm going to spin my notebook around, and if there's not too much glare, could you try and get a tight shot on that woman's face right there? This is the woman in Dallas, Texas, who had a salon. She also sings in a band. She's in jail right now. Now, the Attorney General and the Governor have ordered her released. And there wasn't all that much interest in her until this photo arised. And then, then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, you need to let her out. And of course, on social media,
good old Texas.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's lovely.
If she looked like the yak woman at the state fair, they wouldn't be saying, "Hey, let her out."
And so suddenly, there's almost nationwide interest in this, including people going, "Good God, where's her salon? I'll go to Dallas for a haircut," because she's a lovely woman. And you're talking about glomming on to the cause. Now, the fine was, I think, $5,000.
Well, and they also put her in jail for 7 days. One day in jail for each day she was open.
Since the day that she was sentenced to jail, which I believe was Monday, $153,000 in a GoFundMe account for her.
Whoa.
From people that, and by the way, that all came up after the photo circulated, and people's like, yeah, she's hot. It's like the reaction when teachers mess with students, and it's a female with a male student or female student, but it's a female teacher. The reaction is completely different if the woman is homely or if she's attractive.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Unfortunately, you are right.
It's weird. Now, I think in this case, I actually saw a clip of from the courtroom, and the judge was really seeking to make an example of her. And the judge didn't like that she had, flouted the governor's rule and blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, really dressing her down in sentencing, rather than just saying, you know what, you're not allowed to open yet? 5 days, 7 days. But now that she's got the Attorney General and the governor on her side.
Which,
why?
Again,
she's hot.
Well, there's ethical considerations there, too. They shouldn't be messing with the judicial process, in my opinion. Now, do I think his sentence was a little harsh? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, and somebody else, I saw this on social media. Somebody said, don't feel sorry for this woman. This woman, her salon is a massive success. And somebody had a picture that he said was the inside of her house. It was a nice, really nice house. She makes a crap ton of money. Don't feel sorry for her. It's
so
like,
she's successful. Isn't
what
that a good
difference
thing?
does it make that she makes a lot of money? She's been cut off from her income
But
stream.
it makes a lot of difference that she's pretty, as opposed to, I said, looking like the yak lady at the county fair.
Right, exactly.
Which would have gotten no intervention from anybody.
This is all, we're talking about prosecutions and things. This is a COVID violation, but what we're about to begin talking about in just a couple minutes is crime and punishment. Well, this COVID lockdown zone, what's going on? What are the trends? What are we seeing increased? What's practically nil? I think East Baton Rouge Parish reflects what's going on in other parishes around us as well. So we've got the district attorney for East Baton Rouge Parish, Hillar Moore.
Let's not forget, we have 2 police officers, 1 dead, 1 badly wounded, as the result of a domestic violence murder.
And we've had, I've noticed that there have been more shootings turning up in the news. But the district attorney can tell you more about that than I can, because he's got his finger on the pulse beat of crime and punishment in our parish. So we'll be talking with him in just a couple of moments.
All right, stick around. More to come on Exiles TV. A quick break, and then we're right back at you. Stick here.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher in the co-pilot seat. Well, actually, you're in the command pilot seat.
Am I?
You're in the left seat.
Okay, so you're saying if we were a flight crew, I would have main control of the
You
yoke.
would be the captain.
Yeah.
But you know what? You wouldn't be able to do? You wouldn't be able to taxi the airplane because the little wheel's on my side. So keep that in mind, Buster.
All right, buddy.
In the center, District Attorney Hillar Moore from the
East Baton Rouge
19th
Parish,
JDC in
District
East
Attorney.
Baton Rouge Parish. And I think it goes without saying that Hillar is an unqualified expert on domestic violence and particularly domestic violence homicide. But Hillar, as District Attorney, also keeps up very closely with violent crime in our area. And if you're in Lafayette or if you're in St. Tammany Parish or in New Orleans, I'm sure you see the same type of video that we see. You also see Hillar Moore in the 19th JDC in East Baton Rouge Parish at most of these crime scenes as things are occurring. And Hillar, we seem to have a big uptick, first of all, in domestic violence, and we've had a domestic violence homicide. Now, you kind of predicted that at the beginning of the shutdown. What's the situation like?
So it's really hard to tell, and right now I don't think we can trust the numbers that we see, because when this started, when we made the announcement with the judges, the mayor, the chief, and the sheriff, that, hey, people, this is coming. We experienced it in 2016 after the flood, and we saw just an increase in domestic violence and domestic violence homicides and murder-suicides. So we thought the same thing was going to happen. We wanted to warn people, to let them know to be careful, because now you're going to be at home, and you're going to be at home potentially with an abuser who has exercised control over you, and you can't leave. And your normal coworkers or teachers at school of a child, the 1,000 eyes are now gone, and you really can't leave to make a call, to call someone, call a neighbor, go to work and call from your work phone, so it's save it from being on your cell phone. So we knew that that was going to happen. So our numbers have remained somewhat consistent. However, that probably means that we're missing a lot of calls, because other states around, we've seen significant increases. Some remain the same, some are lower. But I think we really have to wait to see until it's over. But we surely have seen murder, double suicide, murder-suicide, domestic violence homicides, domestic violence shootings, strangulations, beating.
Oh, my.
So they're there, and I think after all is said and done, we'll better be able to tell the numbers.
In East Baton Rouge Parish, we had at one time a fair number of what we call home invasions, where people may not want to kill anybody, but they want to take things, and they're not interested in waiting around to burglarize you. They just want to kick in the door, hold you at gunpoint, and take your valuables. With all these people sheltered at home, has that been decreased somewhat, or?
So, generally overall, when you're talking about a home invasion, normally it's not a stranger that's coming to invade your home. It's normally not the case. After all
So
said and done,
normally you know the assailant.
normally there's a connection between the two, and oftentimes, and I'm not saying this is all the time, because surely we have real home invasions where it's an unknown person who wants to come in and rob, do you harm, steal things. But oftentimes we see it's some relation, some prior fight. Is it drugs, that they know you have drugs or valuables and you've maybe dealt with them in the past? So again, it's a case-by-case basis, but home invasions have remained consistent. They're fairly low. We don't see a lot of those, but they surely do happen.
We had sneak thievery turn into a homicide, and unfortunately a former Baton Rouge cop was killed on his own property, trying to thwart a car burglary. Have we seen an increase in that? I mean, or people being more watchful of their homes?
I do believe that we've seen some increase in burglaries. Again, I'm not sure how many people are really reporting, but I think you see a lot of people nowadays that are going around, and younger folks going around pulling on car door handles to see what's open. It's crime of opportunity. So that's what we always ask and beg people, particularly gun owners, please keep your door locked. If you have a gun, take it in your home with you.
Yeah, don't
take
leave
that
the
extra
gun in
step.
the car.
Don't leave it in the car. Please lock your car. We've talked to several people who have had their car broken into many times, so they just don't lock their car anymore because they don't want to put up with the broken window, but they take their valuables out, bring them inside. The guns that are stolen, we do see guns that are used in crime. They are stolen out of your car, my car, your home from a burglary. And we look at the time of the crime. So the time that you stolen and the time that it's used, and it's fairly quick. I mean, it's within a week, weeks, a month, or a few months. So that's really telltale that the guns that are being used in Baton Rouge and really the nation overall for crime are stolen guns, and they're used very quickly.
I'm sorry, Bill, just one more quick one. Should we as homeowners presume that person who's just tugging on the door handle looking for a crime of opportunity is probably armed?
No doubt. So they may not be, but absolutely you should prepare. In fact, in a lot of homeowners' videos that we see, you can see them tugging on a door handle, and in their hand there's a gun. That's someone you really don't want to.
Saw 3 of those in my neighborhood.
So it's you don't want to confront that because you don't know. Police have radios, they can talk, they can do other things. So yeah, we would always ask, just stand by, make the call. I know people are frustrated, but it could potentially be a deadly or dangerous situation.
I'm kind of moved by the timeline you talked about. Years and years ago, when I was single, my home got broken into. And the deputy who was investigating me asked me to inventory what was taken. And one of the first things I noticed was my gun was taken. And he just kind of breathed a great big sigh, and he said, not your fault, but you just graduated this guy from burglary to armed robbery or worse. And that is still occurring that way. They pick up a gun illegally from a car or a home, and it's used in a crime within weeks.
Yeah, so the ATF has done a very good job of collecting this information for the time of the crime. We run all of the guns that are collected. We also run all the shell casings from shootings that we collect. So I'd also suggest that a gun owner, if they are able to shoot their weapon at a approved range, we ask that they save a shell casing or two from their
that's
practice.
Great. Terrific
because
idea.
if the gun is stolen, then we at least know that you kept the shell casing from this particular model gun with this serial number, just in case it's stolen. And we may be able to look at that, to look at the guns that eventually are used.
Well, and some, my most recent purchase of a handgun, which was maybe 8 or 9 years ago, in the box with the gun, there was a shell casing, and it said, this is your striker mark from this weapon, and one just like this, where we fired your weapon, has been sent to, I guess it's ATF or FBI or whatever, to go in the database. So some of the newer purchases, they do that for you, at the manufacturer. But it's still a great idea.
I mean, it's really good to see because we do collect shell casings. They're very valuable for us. Unfortunately, we have to do it, but so it's something that we look for.
With an increase in domestic violence, because, again, we're talking about people that are sheltering at home and they may be sheltering with an abuser. It's a situation where law enforcement can't really do anything until a crime occurs. So how can we...
Until they're called.
Yeah.
So we're in that position where you really can't. And so we tell the people that if in that position, do it when it's safe. Call the police when it's safe. Don't put yourself in further jeopardy by calling and knowing that something bad is going to happen to you.
I was looking at a Facebook post from one of my Facebook friends, and she was offering this up. And she said, text me. If he's just hit you, but it seems like he's stopped, text me and tell me that you're interested in buying my lipstick. And if you're in imminent danger of getting beaten again, text me and tell me that you'd like to place an order for lipstick right away.
Yes.
And she said, if I get that coded message, I'm going to call the sheriff's office and send them to your house. Is that wise to have someone that you can maybe send a code to? If you,
I think as long as it's set up ahead of time, who are you going to send the code to? Is it a friend or is it a counselor that has contact with police and authorities? Did you work that code out ahead of time? We always find that the abuser is always looking at that person's phone. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what your text is. If it's lipstick, which is an example, obviously, it's probably not the best one to use. But if it's something more innocuous, then maybe it is. So when this all started, our 16 victims assistance counselors with their known victims that are home with abusers potentially, they set up some particular codes and things that they could do, give them a safety plan, where to go. But yes, I think that's a good message, but it has to be a safe one.
Is it fair to say that we're not going to know, and not just here, but jurisdictions all over this country are not going to know how many calls they didn't get because there was not any spacing between the abuser and the victim until after this is over?
We believe that that's the case, although other jurisdictions have seen a huge increase. Others have seen a decline. We believe that that's the case, that hopefully people are behaving, but we believe we really have to wait to get a true number.
We are going to return with DA Hillar Moore after our last break before we take you to the top of the hour. This is Exiles TV. A reminder, you can watch the replay. Every time we're here with you live, there's a replay at 10 p.m. that goes until midnight. And, of course, it goes up on YouTube this afternoon, so you can look at it again. Please tell your friends to join us for our next broadcast. Back in just a moment.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For Total Pest Control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Hey, we're back. This is Exiles TV. Bill Profita. I'm Kevin Gallagher. In the center, East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney Hillar Moore. We've been talking about crime and punishment. We haven't really talked much about punishment. We've just been talking about what's been trending. And there have been noticeable increases in domestic violence. There have been some shooting incidents. And we appreciate you being with us to talk about it. I know you communicate with other district attorneys in other parishes. Are the trends similar from parish to parish?
Really, parish to parishes, they do vary widely, but it's fairly, I think we've been fairly consistent that things have slowed down for a while, but now they're kind of back up again to a normal kind of pace.
Well, you mentioned something during the break that the heroin problem and the synthetic heroin, the fentanyl and the opioid deaths, that just has kind of continued unabated.
Yeah, it's still, we thought that we would see a difference. And
what do you have to do but lay around your house and do dope?
Well, so looking at the things nationwide, everyone thought that possibly people who are addicted, maybe in suicides, so two separate things, but suicide and opioid overdose deaths, maybe if the folks were around their family members more that didn't have access, that there would be a lower rate. I can't talk as to the suicide, I'm not sure about that, but we have seen that the overdoses has increased some, which is kind of unusual because looking at what's happened in China and Mexico, you would think the supply has been interrupted as we see in other places, but they're still out there dealing. People are unfortunately still using. And it could, what happened when the stimulus check came to these people who are unfortunately addicted? They had a decision to make. Can we stay with sobriety, or do you have to use this money to go back to drugs? A situation I would surely hate to have a family member, any friend be in, but it seems that we're seeing somewhat of an increase.
How does all this impact the very important operations of your office? Because you are supported by fines that are collected in court, right? Yeah. And fees and things like that. And as I understand it, none of that's happening because they've shut the courts. I mean, you have got to be on a shoestring right now.
We were before this started, and with the number of cases that we have per assistant DA, same thing with the public defender, same thing with the courts. Everyone's overwhelmed. Now you add to that the missing 2 and 3 months of crime that's occurred. The crime hadn't stopped, and they have arrested less. However, crime has not stopped. We still have cases that are coming in that you cannot get to court. You have people in jail. We've been reducing the jail population. Now we're on a user fee basis. That is court costs, traffic tickets. Those are gone. They'll be gone for another month or two at least. Will we get back to writing tickets again to where you obtain some money? Will there ever be court costs that are assessed against people that may not have the money to pay? So this problem is going to linger for a long time with us. And we are trying to get back to some type of new normal, which will never be normal again for us. Then for Louisiana, particularly with the Ramos decision, which says non-unanimous juries for the ones that are on direct appeal must be retried. So you're looking at brand new 12 new murders, or 10 or 12, that have to be retried, that have been tried and already finished. And now there's another
just an EBR?
Just an EBR. And so now there's another writ that was granted by the Supreme Court 2 days ago that said those cases that are potentially on collateral appeal, habeas corpus, we're going to look at those non-unanimous jurors, which is hundreds of cases that go back over 20 and 30 years. I believe the Supreme Court will rule in our favor on that, but just if that were to happen, the floodgates would be open on hundreds of retrials of extremely serious cases.
Just out of curiosity, because I don't know the answer to this, and I don't think a lot of people at home understand, Give me an average of what it costs to try a murderer, what it costs the taxpayers to have a murderer on trial.
Yeah, I don't think we ever put a number down to it, but you're talking about it's the biggest undertaking you take in your life. Whatever your job is, it's your biggest chore that you have to take, and you live with it for a year to 2 years and working with that to get it to court. And there's so many other people that are associated with it, public defenders, DAs, courts, witnesses, crime lab, so much time in court, so much time preparing. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Death penalty cases are millions of dollars to the office and take 5 years at least to get to trial. And right now we're running 20 to 25 years on appeal. So big efforts, big undertakings.
When someone is arrested for a crime and your office has decided what he's going to be charged with, there's a process for him to be arraigned. With the courts closed because of COVID-19, what kind of system is there? Some kind of a telemetric system to arraign people?
Let me give you a hats off to the courts and the public defender and the DA's office working together to get that done. We're focusing on who's in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get those guys arraigned through telephonics and things like that. And so we're a little bit behind on that, but we're working on it with the judges. We have a system called Court Call, and we have planned for this day. Hopefully on the 18th, we'll be able to open up in some type of fashion using second floor courts to where we don't have to use the elevators, but use escalators. And so we're looking to get back to the new normal to begin with. And let's see how it kind of plays out and eventually work there. But we have worked very hard with the judges, public defender's office, and staff to get to trying to handle these cases as we can. And we have resolved cases while people have been in jail through these methods so far. And the prison population right now is at the lowest it's been in 50 years.
Really?
So, again, hats off to everyone involved in the criminal justice system. I think the citizens, if they knew what we're doing while protecting public safety, would be happy.
Need a quick answer. Is an office like yours eligible for any kind of replacement funding from the feds? Can they give you a grant or a loan because of all the revenue you're not getting?
At this point, the answer for us is no. We're working with that now, so I don't know what the future holds for us. September's going to be tough for us if we're not able to get some money for loss of revenue from court costs, which does not seem to be in there now.
Well, District Attorney Hillar Moore, he is the 19th Judicial District, which is East Baton Rouge Parish. Always a pleasure to have you with us and give us the info about what's going on in the streets and in the courtrooms of our area. That is going to bring it to a conclusion for us this morning on Exiles TV. We sure do thank you for joining us. Clarence Buggs starts off next week, and then we'll be right behind on Tuesday. But again, you can take a look at all the shows on YouTube. And don't forget, the app is the easiest app I have ever downloaded. If you're an Apple user particularly, in the App Store, it is Pelican Broadcasting, and it downloaded in about 18 seconds. It was as easy as it could possibly be. So until we meet again, we're going to say be careful out there, be safe. Hopefully we're going to have some good news coming up from the governor on the reopenings, but be careful out there.
And may God bless. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.